Assalamu alaikum all. Today I'm going to be talking about being frugal to build Muslim wealth. Now, this is something I read a lot about in The Millionaire Next Door, which is a great book, and I'll make sure to have a link to that in the description. And in that book, they did some research on the average sort of millionaire. They got a bunch of millionaires and did a bunch of research on their behaviors and habits. And what kind of really surprised me is that your average millionaire is actually very frugal. So, this is meaning that they're very careful about how they spend their money. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about how we can use frugality to build our Muslim wealth and how I kind of go about doing that in my life. Welcome to Simple Muslim Money, which is all about simple halal investing and personal finance for Muslims. Now, what does being frugal mean? So being frugal just kind of means being aware of your money, spending money on things that add value, and it's something spoken a lot about in the book The Millionaire Next Door, which is a fantastic book. And also Tai Kim, the financial tortoise, which is a great YouTube channel that I like. He kind of does quite a lot of videos about frugality as well, and that's why I really wanted to make a video about it. And Ramit Sethi, who's like this personal finance sort of expert who's written like a great book and has got some really good sort of videos and articles and podcasts, talks about spending extravagantly on the things that you love, but cutting out mercilessly on the things that you don't. And this is like a really good lesson to have. You know, I've spent a lot of money eating in restaurants in London that we have like really like lots and lots of halal restaurants, and some of them look really good. Like they seem like they're more designed for Instagram than anything, but then the food and the service and the price and everything is just not worth it at all. So yeah, and I don't know why I just kept kind of going to these places almost sort of mindlessly, just kind of going there, just like something to do. And then there's this restaurant like in Ilford called the Gina, which does these halal puris, mega cheap. And I've gone there. I've just always had a good time. I don't know if it's because of the expectation of what it is, but yeah, I'd much rather value my money on spending something on that. So yeah, if you ever do go to Ilford in London, definitely check it out. The other thing is that when you cut back by being frugal and cutting back, it means that you can save and invest more, and you'll be spending less. You have that extra money that you can then kind of invest and save with. And also about being frugal is it also means it's not about showing off, buying a bigger car or a bigger house just because you're kind of earning more money, because those are ways that will kind of really stop you from investing and kind of building your wealth. And a good line I like from Tai Kim's video that I got was, I don't know if it's the original line, but it's fantastic, which was, you get rich by living like you're broke, and you get broke by living like you're rich. So it's something that I really like. It's a really good lesson. And in The Millionaire Next Door, he was talking about these doctors that were earning $700,000 a year, but they're spending most of that money. They didn't have anything to kind of show for it. And, if they lost their job, then they would be in like really big trouble. And yeah, I remember when I first got my first full-time job, I spent a lot of money. I felt like I had all this money for the first time. I was buying all these Polo Ralph Lauren like t-shirts, different colors and things like that. And I was going out to restaurants a lot, and I was thinking like with my friends and stuff, I was just going out pretty much most nights. We were going out to eat or just going somewhere or just hanging out. And yeah, I wish I'd kind of saved more with that money or kind of used that time better. And also, yeah, I was just sort of spending money for the sake of it, like not on what I actually love. Sometimes you go out, you go shopping or somewhere, and there's like a Starbucks, and I just spend £5, and they've got this Tai Chi latte there. It's not even very nice, but I just end up spending money. It's just for the sake of it. Or like bubble tea is like a big thing at the moment. It's like everywhere, and people are spending £5-6 on these bubble teas. So yeah, and it's not, fair enough if someone really likes that, but not for me. I'm just spending it for the sake of it. Another thing to be aware of is lifestyle creep. And this is what was happening to me. As I was earning more money, I felt like I had to kind of spend more money. And yeah, and a really good case of this is like, we bought this Honda Civic. We had this great car. It was really good. We had like a problem with the gearbox, had to change it, but generally it was fine. And then it started having problems, and we had to sort of upgrade to a new car. So we ended up getting a BMW. And this BMW was like used to drink more petrol. It cost more money to service and things like that. And had a lot of problems with it as well. So we're paying more money, but we're also getting like more inconvenience. We had more problems. We had to take it to the dealership to get sorted out. And yeah, it was just like a nightmare, this car was. And then that car had so many problems. We had to kind of move on to a new car. And then we kind of did a bit more research. And now we've kind of moved to a Lexus, which is one of the most reliable cars out there. And so far, alhamdulillah, it's been really good. And yeah, we've had a much better experience with that. It's actually cheaper to service and things like that. And yeah, so that's kind of just being kind of more aware of where our money is going. And also I remember like spending on Amazon as well. I used to spend so much money on Amazon, just not even really thinking about things. Whereas now I'm a bit more intentional on buying stuff, not just buying stuff and just kind of like leaving it in the side. And yeah, as I said before, being frugal is a good lesson from the millionaire next door. This is what millionaires are doing. So it's definitely something we need to sort of pay attention to. It's something I need to pay attention to and actually make sure I implement in my life. And being frugal means kind of spending based on value. So, I bought this rowing machine. It was £250. So, which seems like quite a lot of money. But however, I get really good value out of it. I bought it during the COVID times. It's been a good few years. I pretty much use it on most days. So it's something I really value and I really believe it was worth spending money on. Also, being frugal means spending money on quality. I needed a bit plumber to sort out my boiler, and I've used plumbers before that haven't been that good, or it's just been stressful to deal with, but they have been cheaper. And now I'd much rather spend extra money, get a good plumber in that does a good job. It will work out cheaper in the long run. They'll much easier to deal with, much more professional. So, that was definitely a really good lesson. Another thing was when I was buying a backpack, and actually I have that backpack on me at the moment. And it's this kind of North Face Jester backpack that I really love. I've had this for years. I can't remember, at least 5, 6, maybe 7 years, something like that. Absolutely love it. I've had it for a long time. I spent quite a lot of money. I think it was about £50-60. It's got really good pockets, really good zips. I use it every time I go traveling. So yeah, it's a fantastic backpack. And so that's where it's really had good value for me, spending that on a really good quality backpack. Also, being frugal does not mean being cheap. Being cheap means someone that doesn't spend any money at all, is really tight and just doesn't want to loosen the purse strings at all. But every now and then, I will do something spontaneous. We might be on a holiday and we just sort of buy some amazing ice creams like we did in France. There's a place called La Frécherie, and it is amazing. They're famous for this vanilla strawberry ice cream. And I thought, we're in France once. Let's just buy that ice cream. And also, the other day, I was out with my son, and we don't usually get that much time to spend with each other. He's on school holidays at the moment, and just as a surprise, I thought, let me just go to Wingstop in East London, where they do halal wings. But yeah, it wasn't actually that nice, but it was nice to spend some time with my son in that case, and I really appreciated that. And then the next one we'll talk about is we need to sort of practice being frugal and build frugal habits, and that's something I need to kind of do. So I thought one of the best ways to do that is just by having a budget and being aware of where my money's going. And then I could kind of keep track of it and then decide, is it worth it? Am I spending money in the right places here? Am I doing the right things? And yeah, it's really good. And as Ramit Sethi said, spend extravagantly on the things you love and cut costs mercilessly on the things that you don't. So this is a really good way to do that. And it definitely takes time. It's not something you could just quickly do overnight. And being frugal also kind of keeps you grounded as well. You don't get carried away. You don't think about, spending money just for this moment. You're thinking about the future as well and investing and saving. That's really important. And by being frugal, also, I'm able to lower my cost of living. So if anything does happen, I'll be in a better position. For example, I had a job once and I got made redundant, which in the UK means they've kind of let you go. However, they give me a bit of a finance package, and I had some savings and things like that in place, so that kind of really helped. And also my cost of living was much more kind of in control then. So it makes a massive difference. And living on less income, so having this lower cost of living, also means anything extra can be saved. And it's something I spoke about early. So any sort of bonus, any increase in salary, that can all be saved and invested and help with your kind of retirement and your future. Because I've had money before where it's just come in and it's just sort of almost disappeared. I've just spent it on random stuff. So yeah, it's much better doing things like that. And then the more stuff you have, the more stuff that you buy also kind of just becomes more of a mental burden. Definitely in my case, and this is a lesson from minimalism, which I really like, the whole kind of concept around that. Kind of the more stuff that you have in your house, it just clatters it up, and you have to look after it, clean it. People that have bigger houses, they got more spaces to clean, and it costs more money to maybe get a cleaner to clean more rooms and things like that. So and I remember when we moved house, so we kind of moved out from our old house, and we just had lots of stuff, and we just ended up either giving away, selling stuff, throwing stuff away, and it felt amazing. Really felt good just having less stuff, and really kind of just clatters up your mind and just having all of this sort of stuff. And the next thing I would say is just more of a happier life, being more frugal and spending money that you actually need. You feel better, you feel less stressful, and you feel like you're building up your wealth and your future, and you feel like you're a bit more in control as well. So definitely it's been fantastic. And being frugal has many of benefits, like building up your wealth. It means that you're saving more, investing more, happier life, and just overall it's a fantastic kind of philosophy to kind of get into. And if it's what your average millionaire is doing, then there's definitely something I feel like I can learn from that. So yeah, I just want to say thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please smash that like button, as it really helps the algorithm. Assalamu alaikum.